What's going on, everybody? It's Friday, thank God. Uh, got a new, or the first time I've ever had one. I bought a tripod, so maybe I can do videos a little bit more often. Shout out to T Money 86 here on YouTube. I know he got something recently that he was happy with for shooting his videos, so I shot him a message because I know nothing about any of this stuff and figured it's probably got a tripod or something like that. It's going to cost me like 50, 60 bucks. I don't want to spend that kind of money on a tripod. And I asked him what he picked up. He shot me a link to it. It was on Amazon. It was 20 bucks. I had no idea it would be that. And it was like a coupon with it too at the time. It was like 10% off too. So I got it, I think, with the tax for like just under 20 bucks. So if you see the video, I liked it enough. So I figured I'd do something really quick tonight. A little collection update, and then maybe a quick review for you on a film. Let's do the couple cool items came in. I figured I would share them. I normally don't do this, but why not? So first up, we got The Hand That Feeds the Dead. This is a full moon release. This one, along with Orgy of the Living Dead, had issues, and that has since been fixed. I know some people ended up getting copies before it was caught, but I had gotten Orgy of the Living Dead and this one from Diabolic, and Jesse had not sent mine out, which means he probably didn't send anybody's out unless a couple slid through the cracks, which is very possible. Depends when he got them, but if you pick this up now, it does have the corrected disc. There's no problem. The issue I had heard with it was that the picture was like jumpy in a bunch of different areas, so they got all that fixed apparently. So looking forward to checking this one out. I also picked up the Hammer Horror collection. This one is from the Hammer House of Horror, if I could say the right damn thing. This was the TV show. There's been a couple editions of this. I did have a media book edition of this from Wicked Vision. I decided to get rid of that a little while ago, a couple months, maybe a year at this point, I don't even remember. But this is from Imprint. I was limited to 1,500 copies. I haven't opened it up yet, but as you can see, it's kind of like a Vinegar Syndrome box. It opens from the top. I know there's 3 individual cases on the inside. And some new commentaries on here. It's got all 13 episodes. This is 11 hours and 42 minutes, so this is a lot of stuff in here. Definitely look forward to checking it out, and I've heard it is a beautiful job by Imprint. Imprint is out of Australia, if you don't know, and they have been killing it with a lot of limited edition releases. They sell out really quick, but they're not gigantic pressings. Like this one is only 1,500 copies. I know they did Fire in the Sky recently. That went out pretty quick. The Deep, they did as well. I think that one is gone already too. But they're only, I don't know if they're all 1,500, but they're around that number. It's not to the point yet. I don't know if they ever will, but it's not something that they're doing like, oh, there's 5,000 copies or whatever like that. They're pretty small runs. So if you see a title from them that you like, get on it. I'll just say that. The next one, if you follow me at all, know that I have a love affair with media books. I love them, I buy them, and then I sell them, and then I buy them again, and then I sell them again. And I've been trying not to buy them. I love them to death, but if you know media books at all, they're mainly all in German. The film itself will be English, or depending on the film, where the film is actually from, it may be in whatever language that is with English subtitles. But they have nice booklets inside of them. They always look like they have a lot of information, maybe some interviews, but they're all in German. Rarely does anybody have English and German. I feel at this point, because of the collectability of them, and they go all over the world, and everybody knows they go all over the world, why they don't have English as well within the book, or basically give people something within the disc um, to be able to access the booklet in as English or other languages, or be able to even like download it and like just like Google Translate it or something. But that's why I don't buy them. Besides that, they're really expensive. But this one I had to pick up is the first one I've bought in probably a year, just because I could not resist it. It's not a horror film. Pulp Fiction. I couldn't resist with this cover. It is badass. I remember I believe there was the original poster art. This one, I want to even say like one or two more. It's been almost 2 years now since these came out, and I didn't buy any then. But this popped up on Diabolic DVD the other day with a few other things. Jesse had a couple VSA titles that are long out of print. I don't know if he was holding on to this stuff for conventions, and obviously with everything that has happened, there have been no conventions, and probably won't be this year, which is really sad. I know people love going to them. I'm not really a convention goer, but even with a lot of the actors and actresses, they make a living going to those, signing autographs, charging $20, $30 an autograph, and seeing 500 people a day, and then being there for 3 days. Make a lot of money. So I feel bad for a lot of those people, but yeah, I couldn't resist this media book. Besides it being a fantastic movie, I just bought this though as a collector piece. I'm not gonna open it. I have the movie. I don't need to open it, but it was limited to 400 copies, and I got 155. But yeah, I couldn't resist this cover. Fantastic movie though. If you've never seen Pulp Fiction, definitely check it out. I saw it. What is it? 95. I think I was 15 when I saw this. I think it was 95 or 96. Actually, if it was 95, because it might have been a late birthday in December, so I probably saw it the next year, and I hated it. Just absolutely hated it. And I didn't see it again for another probably 2 years. And the next time I saw it again, I absolutely loved it. Just didn't get me the first time I watched it. I watched it the second time and absolutely loved it. So I definitely recommend it. Last one for this little update is another kick-ass looking item. American Werewolf in London. This is the German Turbine Media Group release. This is not the big box that had come out. This is the I don't even call it a reissue, but it's another issue they did of it. Those of you that saw this release, this was released as a big release, big box release. I think it wasn't as big as the Psycho Deluxe edition that they did, which I had, and it was just massive. It was almost as big as the Shock and Gore set from Arrow for Herschel Gordon Lewis. But it was big. It had posters, it had coasters, it had postcards, 4 discs, including the soundtrack. There's just a lot of stuff in it. And I think it was probably the size of the smaller Psycho box that they had done, what the pictures looked like, but it might have been even a little bit bigger than that with the posters inside of it. I had wanted that one. I happened to see when they posted it. I didn't buy it because I thought I had it secured another way. It didn't work out, and this sold out in like 2 days. They did have another edition with all the goodies inside of it. It was a red cover, but thinking ahead, this one, I didn't pick up that one. This was the far better art anyway. I mean, that is just awesome. This is 4K UHD and 2 Blu-ray discs. It would have been nice if this one had included the soundtrack as well, but it doesn't. It's fine. But it's, you know, it's a standard size release. A little bit bigger maybe, but you know, pretty much exactly the same because it's a little bit bigger because of the box. But the other one would have been massive. And as much as I love this cover art, I'm sure at some point I would have gotten annoyed with the size of it, just trying to find a place to put it, because that's what ended up happening with the Psycho box sets. I had the deluxe one, I had no place to put it. I had it just lined up somewhere on the shelf, and when they released the smaller version, I got rid of it because it was just too big. And honestly, as nice as it would have been to have the bigger set of this, the posters, the coasters, that stuff would have come out of the box one time, would have checked it out, really enjoyed them. They went back in the box and never would have come out again. But was happy that they released this one. And I did see a lot of people all of a sudden trying to sell their bigger editions of it just to get this smaller edition. So probably worked out for the best. It did come with one other item though. They all didn't come with this. It came with another separate box, which was only limited to 100 copies. I decided to, they had two separate listings. At this one that was limited to 100, and the separate listing that you can just get this. I decided to get this along with it because I love the film. I couldn't do that big box, so I got this. And inside of it, something wrapped up very nicely with a wax seal. And of course, what is it? You can kind of see it through it. It's the slaughtered lamb. This is only 100 copies. They only made 100 of these. I'll try and turn it. Mine is 95 out of 100. And it's, let me try to get this off. There you go. So there you go. It's a piece of wood, and this is carved onto the wood, or into the wood, however you want to say it. All hand painted and super, super nice. I figured I would end up displaying it somewhere. I have to figure out how to do that. I figured there'd be something maybe on the back, like a little slot or something like that I've seen with some wooden signs that you can just hang it on a nail, but no. So I am going to have to figure that out, which is why I didn't break that seal, besides it being cool. Yeah, really nice. Slaughtered lamb sign. So yeah, I decided to spend the extra money and get that. So I couldn't have the other box, but something this small. I mean, let me grab this and it's not much bigger. So to give you an idea of the size. So displaying something like this is a hell of a lot easier than trying to display multiple posters or whatever the hell else came with the other box, because it came with a bunch of stuff I just forget. But yeah, so that's the little collection of stuff, and just a quick little thought on the Curious Dr Hump. This is an AGFA release. I've got a slipcover with it. That was Vinegar Syndrome's. You don't need the slipcover, of course, but if you like Vinegar Syndrome, it's a Vinegar Syndrome slipcover. You know what that's like. This film is from Argentina, and this is an AGFA Something Weird release. It contains two cuts of the film. The first one is the American cut, which is the Curious Dr Hump. There was a commentary track with it from the director of Basket Case. And he goes right into it and goes on for about an hour. A lot about the film, a lot about the director, interesting tidbits within there. It's only about an hour though, and the film itself is almost an hour and a half. I think it's like 86 or 88 minutes. A lot of information in it though. Very good if you like commentary tracks. The film itself, the American version, which I learned from the commentary, has a lot of sex scenes in it, and while he uses, as it's called here, blood forces of sex to keep young, a lot of the sex scenes, the majority of them, were filmed after the film was done, and were filmed for American audiences, making it more of a sexploitation film. Film I think it was 1970. They said it was in New York City, so that was the heyday, the 42nd Street, all the grindhouses, and it played more towards that audience. The sex scenes were not necessary. You can see within the film that they're kind of forced. Without them, in the other cut, that is the original film cut, which is included in here as well as a bonus feature, also remastered the same way, so it looks beautiful. It is, I will completely butcher this, La Venganza del Sexo. It doesn't have 90% of those sex scenes, and the movie flows a lot better. And overall, even both cuts, even with the sex scenes in it, it's a very entertaining film. I enjoyed it. The sex scenes did make it drag a little bit, like I said, but is definitely worth checking out. I would check out the trailer on Vinegar Syndrome. I don't like to try to give too much away, but give you a really quick little thing. As always, with these films and different films you see with like newspaper guys, they're always trying to get the in, they're trying to get with the cop, and then the film kind of revolves around them. Same thing here, and something of interest, as he's working with the cops, and a bartender comes in and talks about what he saw, and he sees this guy in his bar and gives him the description. They get a sketch of him, put it in the paper, and when he shows up somewhere, instead of calling the police, they call the newspaper guy. And that happened a couple times during the film. It was pretty funny. But this newspaper guy gets in good with the police. He starts helping them. He tracks Dr. Hump, follows him. Dr. Hump disappears. Of course, he tries to find him and gets captured and brought into Dr. Hump's experiments. And it goes from there. It was very good, though. The American cut, if I had to give it a rating, I give it like a 5.5, 6 out of 10. It was a good film, but the added sex scenes definitely did drag it a little bit. The original cut, I would give it like a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Definitely flew. It's late. Flowed a lot better, and was really, really enjoyable. AGFA for me is hit or miss. I think with a lot of people it's hit or miss, but I definitely did enjoy this one. This one you can get without the slip, or the slip for Vinegar Syndrome. I had checked it this morning or yesterday. Everything blends together at this point in time on a Friday night, but had 1,000 copies still available. I think it was limited to 1,500 overall with the slipcover. They put the new limit on the site to 1,000, so you know when it starts to dwindle down. If you like Vinegar Syndrome and their slipcovers, I mean, get it with the slipcover. Why not? They're beautiful. It's the same old slipcover. Not the same old slipcover. That's the wrong way to say it. But the slipcover you come to expect from vinegar syndrome. Excuse me. It's the same thing here. Definitely pick it up. And that's all I got. So, thanks for checking this out. And now that I have a tripod, and maybe we'll try to do this a little bit more often. Night, everybody.